Let's move on. Next up we have the best man. So can you please put your hands together for Chuck?
I thought I was going to be a lot drunker than this. All right, good evening. My name is Chuck, and despite my inability to speak or read well in public, Chris has chosen me to be his best man. We'll get to that. And I thought marrying Esther meant Chris was starting to make good decisions in his life. If you do have a mobile phone, please leave it switched on. Keep yourselves entertained during my speech. I think if you keep your spirits high and your expectations low, everyone will be happy. I'd like to thank all of you for being here today, especially those of you who knew that I would be saying a few words. It's very touching that you still decided to come. Being Chris's best man, I got a taste of how much responsibility the role really holds. I can only imagine what it's like to be a bridesmaid. Esther's support crew have done an outstanding job leading up to this special day, and I would like to take a moment to toast the bridesmaids, Han and Amy. To the bridesmaids. I'm going to need more booze. You girls look absolutely smashing today and only rightly outshone by our bride Esther. And I'm sure you'll all agree with me, gentlemen. Today is a sad day for single men out there, as another beauty leaves the available list. And ladies, I'm sure you'll agree that today's passing by without much of a ripple. So I've been asked to keep this relatively short. I had to consider time when thinking about what I would include in the speech. I figure a quick recap of how Chris and Esther came to be would be something I couldn't exclude. So the year was 2011, or thereabouts. Chris's love for Hondas was well established, but he hadn't yet ventured into his other sketchy love, dressing up in loud, coloured, tight-fitting outfits whilst travelling long distances in a conga line of shiny, sweaty lycra, also known as cycling. Han and I had been dating long enough for me to stop counting the years when she said I needed to meet her girlfriend from Adelaide who had recently moved back to Perth. She set up a dinner with the intention of introducing me to Esther. However, due to me being a dickhead, I told her I don't want to have dinner with two chicks alone as my ears can only handle so much punishment. So I went ahead and invited Chris. Stupid me, now I'm having dinner with 3 girls. Anyways, Chris, being the lovable weirdo that he is, offered to pick up a girl he had never met as they both live south of the river and meet us at Blue Water Grill. Han recalls meeting them both in the car park, and Chris was wearing a seedy grin from ear to ear. I recall following the 2 girls into the venue with Chris by my side as he punched me in the arm and gave me the WTF face while still wearing the seedy grin from the car park. Chris proceeded to ruin the girls' catch-up dinner by hushing and talking over Han throughout the evening. It seems girls pick up and remember things like this. I was too oblivious. I was just happy that Chris was finally taking an interest in women. Over the years, this has been a legitimate concern of mine. His love for Hondas and Lycra, his high-level fashion, his immaculate hair that defies the law of physics, left me with many doubts about Chris's sexuality. I recall having dinner at his parents' house and the priest who is here tonight, who I will be hiding from shortly, breaking Chris's balls and telling him, come to my church, there are plenty of girls there, and if you don't find one, it's okay to be gay. That's a true story. I'll fast forward now to December 2020. Chris had recently proposed to Esther and another catch-up dinner was organised. Han and I arrived and I called Chris to make a joke about him being late due to him driving a Honda. Chris picked up the phone and managed to lock the keys in the house while I was on the call. They eventually made it to dinner via an Uber. Along the way, Chris hand wrote a note where he asked me to be his belt man. It was later decoded over dinner and I discovered that he was asking me to be his best man. It turns out Chris has terrible handwriting. Chris, I'd like to thank you for the honour of being the best man. I would like to say that it is you who is the best man. You're a good guy, one of the best guys I know. Esther is lucky to have you, as are the rest of us. You truly are a legend and a legit example to me of how to be a better person, and for that I thank you. These compliments in no way mean I will stop ribbing you about Hondas or cycling, but they needed to be said. I would like to offer you a tip for married life. You're an addict for taking and sharing photos. So I would say stay off your phone while you're having meals. Be present at least while you're eating. Let your wife talk and just get really good at pretending to listen. And you will be sweet. Well, I'd like to thank you all for bearing with me. Since I wrote this all late last night, if you enjoyed listening to this speech as much as I enjoyed writing it, then all I can do is apologise sincerely. Incidentally, for those of you who don't know, I'm not married myself as yet. I just look this way because I've recently been ill. Would you please raise your glasses in a toast to Chris and Esther? I'd like to toast you, Chris, with a small poem written by a great up-and-coming poet by the name of Chuck Cale. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. If it wasn't for Esther, Chris's balls would rust. To the bride and groom. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Chuck.